So this is part 2 of domain and range. I did get cut off, so I'm just going to start right at our word problems. Okay, so it says Miles received a $15 gift card to download music. Each song costs $1.50. Okay, so we first want to figure out what does our X and Y represent. So this is a word problem. So we want to think about what's our independent variable. What's the one that we can choose? Can he choose the number of songs he want to buy, or can he choose how much he want to pay? So he can choose the number of songs. So that's going to be our X. Okay. Then depending on the songs he buy, that will determine the amount left on the gift card. So I'll just put amount remaining. So when you're thinking about domain and range in real world situations, you want to think about what are all the possibilities. So if he has this $15 gift card, you want to think about what's the lowest amount of songs he can buy and what's the maximum amount of songs he can buy. Okay. So the lowest will be 0 because we know he can get the gift card and he can decide like, hey, I don't even want to use this. I don't like music. Okay. The max he can buy will be 10 songs. Why is it 10? Because I'm just taking the 15 and dividing it by the 150 and I get 10. So each time I buy a song, I'm subtracting that away from my $15 gift card. Okay. If you wanted to write an equation, you can have y equals 15 minus 150x. Okay, but we're not there yet, but you can go ahead and write that if you want to. So basically, the possibilities he have is 0 songs, 1 song, 2 songs, 3 songs, so on and so forth. Somebody asked me, do I have to write all the numbers? The answer to that is yes. Okay. Since it's discrete, and we know that it's discrete because remember, discrete means that I can't have, or that I can't have any decimals or fractions. So he can't go to Apple Music and say, hey, let me get 4.2 songs. Okay, he has to buy a whole song. So we do have to have all whole numbers. We can't put this because that would mean that it's continuous. And like I said, he cannot buy a decimal or a fraction of a song. So then now when I'm looking at my range depends on my domain. So after I buy each number of song, I have to look at how much is going to be remaining. So if I buy 0 songs, I'm going to have $15 left on my card because I haven't started spending anything. If I buy 1 song, that's $13.50. So you're just subtracting each time. Okay. If I buy 2 songs, that's $12. If I buy 3 songs, $10.50. 4 songs will be $9. 5 songs will be $7.50. 6 songs will be $6. 7 songs will be $4.50. 8 songs will be $3. 9 songs will be $1.50. And then now after 10 songs, he is broke. Or at least he doesn't have any money left on the gift card. He has to rip it up, shred it, or maybe he wants to reload it. Maybe somebody may cash app him some money. But that is it for the gift card. Okay, so that's your domain and range for this first word problem. The next one, it says Jude is driving 40 miles per hour to go to Dallas. His trip is a total of 160 miles. So again, I want to ask myself, what do my X and Y represent? So X represent number of hours. And depending on the number of hours I drive, that determines the miles or the distance driven. So I'll put miles driven. So when I'm thinking about the time, I want to think of how long is the trip, or what was the duration of time he was traveling. Okay, so how long does it take to get to Dallas? Okay, we know that the trip is 160 miles, and we know he drove 40 miles per hour. So that means the total time of this trip is 4 hours. So that's our max. And then the least amount is going to be 0 because that indicates where time started. So we can say if he's preparing for a trip, this is when he's in his driveway, he's in his car, or maybe he's still putting stuff in his trunk, and he's getting ready to go. Okay. So this is X, and then I'm going to have my signs. Okay. This is continuous, because if I'm talking about time continues. I can say, okay, at 30 minutes he was here, at half an hour he was here, so on and so forth. Okay, so this will be continuous. So when I'm talking about my miles driven, we know the total was 160. That was when he made it to Dallas. So before he drove, he was at 0 miles driven. That still was when he was in his driveway. Okay, it's going to be Y because this is range, and I'm going to have the equal to. Now, somebody in class asked me, well, how do I know if it gets to equal to? Most of the times when you're dealing with real world scenarios, those are going to have equal to on there. But if you realistically think about this, when you're driving and you're going on a trip, you're going to actually, like, you start that time, it's going to keep going on and on until you're done with that trip. You're not going to just say, hey, Siri, take me 1 hour in my trip, and you just pop on the freeway. Okay, so time starts at 0, distance starts at 0. So he has to back out his driveway, get on the road, and then he can say, hey, this is the time that I did on this trip. Okay, so that's it for domain and range notes.